Hello student, welcome in social science classes. Today in this class we will discuss about the chapter India after independence, right? So before beginning our chapter we will start by looking at a short video. So let's have look at this video.
Imagine sitting in a time machine and going back to the year 1947. So, let's begin our journey at midnight on 15th August 1947. The day when a newly independent nation of India was born after nearly 200 years of colonial rule. With the independence of the nation comes the great responsibility of drafting a constitution for the newly independent nation. Now, let's travel to the Central Hall of the Parliament in New Delhi, the place where our constitution was drafted. Let's take a look at the famous speech given by our Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, which marked the independence of our country. Here is a glimpse of a famous, special speech, Tryst with Destiny, given by Nehru at the stroke of midnight on the 15th of August 1947. If you observe closely, you can also see that our prominent leaders are busy drafting a visionary document called a Constitution for our nation. Can you name some prominent members of the Constituent Assembly? Yes, you are right. Jawaharlal Nehru, B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Munshi, Sarojini Naidu are some of the famous personalities that were part of the Constituent Assembly. There were around 300 members from different parts of India assembled at the Central Hall of the Parliament between the years 1946 and 1950. If you observe closely, you will notice that they were discussing the future of India. Yes, you heard it right. These discussions and debates later on resulted in the drafting of a constitution for our nation that was adopted on 26 January 1950.
Okay, now we have seen a video which is related to Constitution of India. So now we will discuss some of the key features whatever we have seen in the video. First of all, India got independence on 15 August 1947. So on 15 August 1947, India got independence. After getting independence, there were some challenges, right? So what were the challenges? Number one, to maintain unity and diversity. So the first challenge was to maintain unity and diversity of the country. Second, to make a constitution. Right? So the first challenge was to maintain unity and diversity of the country and to make a constitution of the country. So you know that before independence, that is 1946. In 1946, British government sent a mission that is called Cabinet Mission. Right? In 1946, the British government sent a mission that is Cabinet Mission. And the objective of the mission was to design or to advise the things so that Indians can write their own constitution. So this mission advised a lot of things, right? But the most important among them is it suggested the constitution of Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly. Right? So this constitution suggested that there should be a Constituent Assembly which will make sure that a constitution is designed and implemented. So now the members for this Constituent Assembly were to be elected, right? But due to the situation on that time, it couldn't happen. So what happened? The members were nominated, or in other words, we can say they were elected indirectly. Elected indirectly, right? So the members were elected indirectly. Okay. So now we have seen that the members were elected indirectly, and some of the prominent members were, we will discuss now. Some of the prominent members were like, I write here. Some of the prominent members were Jawaharlal Nehru, B.R. Ambedkar, K.M. Munsey, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Rajendra Prasad, etc. Okay, so these were the important members: Jawaharlal Nehru, B.R. Ambedkar, K.M. Munsey, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Rajendra Prasad, and etc. So the Constituent Assembly started to write the Indian Constitution, right? And after independence, Mr. Nehru became the first Prime Minister of India, right? And at the midnight of 15th August, he gave a fantastic speech in Central Hall of Parliament. Central Hall of Parliament, right? And on 13th July, Pandit Nehru presented objective resolution. Objective resolution, right? So what we are going to talk about that after independence, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister of India, and on 15th of August 1947 he presented a objective resolution in the Parliament, and he gave a speech in Central Hall of Parliament. So the responsibility to draft the constitution was given to a 7-member committee. So the responsibility to draft the constitution was given to a 7-member committee that was called drafting committee. Drafting committee. And this committee was headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And one more thing, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is also regarded as father of Indian Constitution. Father of Indian Constitution. Okay. Now, on 26th November 1949, on 26th November 1949, Indian Constitution was adopted. Indian Constitution was adopted. Adopted by Constituent Assembly. Okay. So on 26th of November 1949, Indian Constitution was adopted. And finally, on 26th January 1950, Indian Constitution was fully enforced, right? And on this day, every year on this day, we observe the Republic Day. Okay, so this is what we were required to discuss and understand. First of all, we need to remember that British government formed a commission that is called Cabinet Mission. According to Cabinet Mission, there will be a Constituent Assembly which will make the Constitution of India. So I told you that in July 1946, the first meeting of Constituent Assembly took place, and later a drafting committee was designed and constituted to make the Constitution of India, and it is very well known that drafting committee was headed by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, and this committee made the Constitution of India. And in this regard, Dr. Ambedkar is also called the father of Indian Constitution. And I have already told you that on 26 November 1949, Indian Constitution was adopted by Constituent Assembly, right? And one more thing, that on this day, every 26 November we celebrate Constitution Day. Okay. And finally, on 26 January 1950, Indian Constitution was fully enforced, and on that day we celebrate the Republic Day. So that's what we were to discuss. Now next you can see, right, another video I am showing you, right?
Imagine sitting in a time machine and going back to the
next video I am going to show you is this. Right?
We all know that the supreme law of our land is the Constitution. But do you know the features of the Indian Constitution? Let us now shed light on the features of the Indian Constitution. One of the most outstanding features of the Indian Constitution was its adoption of the principle of universal adult franchise. The principle of universal adult franchise guarantees political equality for all and gives a right to all the Indians above 18 years of age to cast their vote in both states.
look, one of the most important feature of Indian Constitution is universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise. Right? Universal adult franchise is one of the most important key feature of Indian Constitution. Now, what does it mean? Simply, it means that everyone, right, who is 18 plus or 18 has right to vote. Has right to vote. Right? So, universal adult franchise means everyone, right, irrespective of race, caste, culture, creed, color, right? Nothing matter. If you are 18 or 18 above 18, you have right to vote. This is called universal adult franchise. Now, continue this video.
To all the Indians above 18 years of age to cast their vote in both state and national elections. Unlike countries like the United Kingdom and the United States of America, independent India immediately granted this right to all its citizens, irrespective of their gender, class, education, etc. The second prominent feature of the Indian Constitution is that the fundamental rights that are guaranteed to all.
See, look, the first important feature of Indian Constitution was universal adult franchise, and I have explained you universal adult franchise means if you are 18 or above 18, you have right to vote. The second most important feature of Indian Constitution is fundamental rights, right? So here you can see there are fundamental rights and they are mentioned in part 3 of the Indian Constitution. So fundamental rights are mentioned in part 3 of the Indian Constitution, right? So what are those fundamental rights? 1. Right to equality. 2. Right to freedom. 3. Right against exploitation. 4. Right to freedom of religion. 5. Cultural and educational rights. And last, right to constitutional remedies. So these are the important fundamental rights, right? Right to equality means everyone is equal before law. That's it. Right to equality means everyone is equal before law, irrespective of caste, gender, religion, whatsoever. Second is right to freedom. Right to freedom means we have some guaranteed freedom. For example, right to speak and expression, right to assembly, right to residence, etc. Next, right against exploitation. It means we have some rights against exploitation, right? Next, right to freedom of religion. We have right to choose any religion, right to follow any religion. Along with that, right not to follow any religion. Next, cultural and educational rights. So we have cultural as well as educational rights. We can establish institutions of our own choice, right, to protect our culture and all. And now last, right to constitutional remedies. If any of these rights are violated, we have right to constitutional remedies. It means if any of our rights are violated, we can directly reach to Supreme Court. Understand? Fine.
The second prominent feature of the Indian Constitution is that the fundamental rights that are guaranteed to all. For instance, one major fundamental right given is equality before law. Under this, our Constitution states that no citizen of the nation is above the law. The Constitution guarantees equality to all the citizens of India, regardless of their caste, religion, etc. Moreover, in order to promote equality, the Indian Constitution under Article 17 abolished the practice of untouchability based on caste. On this basis, special privileges have been provided for the disadvantaged groups in Indian society. You might have wondered why the Indian Constitution makers provided special privileges for the weaker sections. To answer this question, do you recall the practices of ancient Indian society where people were ill-treated on the basis of caste? Thus, in order to protect the interest of those communities, a founding...
Okay, so these are some important things we were required to discuss in the class, and I think this is enough for today, right? So to summarize what we have discussed, first of all, we discussed about cabinet mission. Cabinet mission, right? Cabinet mission. Then cabinet mission suggested constituent assembly. Constituent assembly. Next, 26 January 1950. Then drafting committee. Then fundamental rights and universal adult franchise. So that's all for today's class, right? Keep on revising and keep on memorizing. Thank you very much.